said that we would always be.
So hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, this is a different type of video. I've actually decided to bring my husband on my channel and kind of tell you guys some more about us and our story and how this all worked out and how we got to this point of where we're at. We don't have any set questions that we're gonna answer. We're just simply kind of just sharing our story from the time that we met and up until this point, and so that you guys can know a little bit more about, well, me and about us. So how we met, right?
It was casual, I think, initially, but we lived in the same residential facility. We would always see each other going back and forth. We each had our set of friends that we hung out with. She always had a smile on her face, always had a smile on her face. It was like casual. So, you know, I was my first year in college. I wasn't thinking about dating anyone. I was actually in a relationship prior to that actually ended after my first semester. I'm from Colorado originally. So,
and I'm from Florida, from South Florida originally.
Yeah, so being from Colorado, I was not about to go all the way back to Colorado every break that we had. My sister was in Florida, so she was in Fort Lauderdale, which I was able to go and stay with her during the summertime. So Steph actually stayed there as well too. So I had a friend that I could hang out with, again, you know, casual, didn't think too much of anything else. Coming into the next year, we actually both got jobs.
We both were RAs. We both went to Florida A&M University, so it's the best HBCU in the land. In Tallahassee, Florida, so that's where we met. And so our sophomore year into college, so silly. So our sophomore year into college, we both got jobs as RAs. We both got jobs as RAs in the same residential hall. He was on the guy's side and I was on the women's side. Sophomore year to senior year of college, we worked together. Our first year, we weren't dating, we were simply just friends. But I obviously through spending more time with each other, by default, because we worked together and we had a lot of mutual friends, we went to the same church, a lot of overlapping in our lives, and through that connection we became better friends. And so I really got to know who he was and really got to see him for who he truly was. He was just always just he was always just this is what we can do, guys. This is why. So he was always just genuinely so kind. He was always really respectful. We were always laughing, like now. He was my friend, and when I started liking him, I hated it because I didn't want my feelings to interrupt what I felt like was a really good relationship, and I didn't want to lose or sabotage that relationship in any way.
I definitely started liking her as well too, and I actually didn't want to date anyone else really after my relationship before her, because I just didn't feel like I was ready. Moving into another relationship was almost out of the question for me. But God transformed our lives completely to be able to learn how to love again. It's been good since then. It's been really, really fun. 5 years later now, I feel old each day, although we're not
even 30. So
no,
we're not.
okay.
We started dating our junior year of college. So just like Aaron, I was in a previous relationship before he was, for about 5 years. I really wasn't looking for a relationship, so that's why when I did start liking him, I was upset. And I was just like, this is not my plan. And then too, obviously I didn't want to ruin the friendship that we had already developed, because he was actually probably one of my best friends. He really, really was. That's what he became to me. So we went to the School of Ministry summer 2010. After the School of Ministry was over, like with that last week of the School of Ministry, he actually asked me to date him. That fall went into our junior year of college, and so we dated from 2010 until 2012. He proposed July 2011. Now I don't remember the date.
Can't tell you that date.
I can't tell you the date, but it was July 2011.
Just wanted to put a ring on your finger, boom!
Because, ooh,
but she said yes. She said yes. She could have said no.
I could have.
A couple times, over and over again.
But I wouldn't. But I wouldn't say no.
Okay, cool.
By the time we're engaged, it's the month before our senior year of college. So you can imagine how crazy that was, trying to figure out well, am I going to go to grad school? And what if so? I just started to applying to different programs because I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology, and so I thought I was going to be a clinical psychologist. That was my dream goal.
Doctor.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to be Dr. Fergus. And I didn't feel any peace about it, but obviously now I'm trying to plan a wedding, and yeah, we're college students. We didn't have very much money, and we wanted to get married, and we wanted to get married in South Florida. That's where most of my family was, and his family flew into town to come join us. I was 2 college students who have campus jobs, who live on campus, whose only source of income is to be an RA. And yeah, we somehow made, by the grace of God, some of our families and friends did help make it all happen, but the planning process was absolutely crazy. We set a budget
and we said, hey, if y'all are about to try to do anything extra, y'all can go ahead and do that. We are not paying extra money outside of what we know we have and what we can do.
Well, we kind of did just a little bit. But we did kind of, sort of. There's always some extra more money. It wasn't too much, but we did. Each semester we got paid $1,000. $8,000 each semester, y'all. And in my senior year, my scholarships ran out, so I ended up having to take out a loan my senior year. I'm not even sure how honestly, I think about it, how the heck did we make that happen?
My dad was in the military.
Dad was in the military, so
I received benefits based off of that, so those benefits allowed us to still kind of budget a little bit more within our wedding. Finding a venue sucked. We looked at so many different venues, and every place you could either have your food and you could either not have food and have a nice place, or you could have the food that they wanted you to use and have a place that didn't look so great. We stumbled upon a conference center, which is a beautiful conference center, Covens Conference Center. If you guys ever get a chance to check that out. We stumbled upon that conference center in Miami, and it was just beautiful. Like right when we stepped in, we knew that it was the venue and it was a place we were going to get married.
Some of our family did not approve, not because they didn't think we were right for each other, but because they felt like we were just so young. We were 22 at the time. Like, I wasn't even 22 yet. He was 20. He had just turned 22. When he proposed to me, we were 21. I was turning 22 that month because we got married August 5th, 2012, which was exactly 2 years after we dated. We had a plan, and it was just amazing how everything fell into place. Our photographer, she was up and coming, so she was a great photographer that took our pictures for us, our engagement pictures.
Shout out to Vanessa Julie.
Yeah, our DJ, one of my best friend paid for that. Like, just so many things that so many people contributed to make our wedding what it was, and it definitely was one of the best days of my life. We had a really good friend who gave us some money and helped us get the basic things in our house. So a lot of the things that we had in our house furnished, as far as our furniture goes, came off of Craigslist.
I was like, we getting beds, couches, sofas, nice ones, by the way. I mean, I wasn't trying to get some stuff on Craigslist. It's a little iffy, you might look at it this is a little bit sketch. People thought I was crazy because I had a couch and chairs sitting on top of my car and driving from Thomasville all the way to Tallahassee, and they didn't know what was happening, but I knew what was going on. I had to get some furniture.
Yes. He got all of our furniture. When I mean all of our furniture, our beds, our couches. He even found an apartment, our very first apartment. He did that all by himself. I wasn't there. So I went back home, back to Fort Lauderdale, and he stayed in Tallahassee. I worked a part-time job working in sales. Absolutely hated that job with a passion. But I made a pretty decent amount of money over the summer. So literally every dollar that I had from everything that I received from senior year, whatever aid it was, wedding, graduation gifts, all went to our wedding. I was getting somewhere with this. We had FaceTime. So I think I had.
I know FaceTime.
No, you had your iPod, remember? Oh. You had your iPod
Was it
Touch.
FaceTime though? It was FaceTime. I didn't know FaceTime existed too late.
Yes. I had bought him an iPod Touch for Christmas. So, literally, when he went to go look for apartments, he was FaceTiming me. We looked for apartments while I was here during the school year, but we didn't find anything that we liked that was affordable in our price range. Nothing. He's the bomb because I literally relied on him, and he made everything work. After we got married, it was like, what?
Married, I still had a semester of school left, so we moved into our place, right? So, like I said, we got most of the stuff on Craigslist, but we didn't have everything. Usually, people put their TVs on like in an armoire or something else like that. We had totes. We had a great little. We actually still have the totes.
We still have the totes.
We had some great totes, and it was a great like closed tote that you get from Walmart, and our TV sat on top of that. We had these speakers to just kind of enhance the volume, and it was our it was our entertainment center. So we didn't have cable. We had Netflix though. We had these speakers since high school because I used to make beats. I was gonna be the next Timbaland, something like that. Maybe not. I was pretty good though.
We didn't have Netflix. We had my sister's Netflix.
Oh, we had your sister's Netflix account, and we had our neighbor's cable.
And our neighbor's Wi-Fi. Thank God for unsecure Wi-Fi, because that's how we were able.
Thank God for an unsecure Wi-Fi.
Yes, unsecure Wi-Fi, because that's how we used our internet. Like literally, we couldn't afford it. Aaron's still in school. He had a semester. He graduated December 2012. We got married August 2012. So when we moved back to Tallahassee, in August, I found a part-time job. I literally found the job ad on Craigslist like 10 hours before the actual scheduled interview time was, and I barely made 20 hours a week. I'm making minimum wage, which was like $7 something a month. I don't get how we survived that, because our rent was like $650. We still had to pay like utilities. We still had to pay for like gas.
God had his hand
we
over us.
Really made it happen. We didn't go out very much, but it was we had so much fun, and it was fun because I didn't work as much, so I was able to stay home, and I cooked everything home because we couldn't afford to eat out and spend money elsewhere. So we really stayed within our budget. We made it work. It was like an act of God. It really was pinching pennies, an act of God. Those first, I would say the first 6 months of when we got married. So I worked at my job for about almost a year before I decided to transition into another job. We had gotten a new job, so we were able to buy a TV. So we bought this new Vizio TV.
Yes, it was such a cool TV.
Just got an armoire off of Craigslist. Unfortunately, we had the TV for about 2 or 3 weeks before our house got broken into. So our apartment actually got broken into.
Whole house got broken.
No, that was 2014.
Oh, it was 2014?
Yes.
Well, we had a TV.
And
you had a Scooty too.
Yeah, my Scooty. Okay, so Scooty. So we only had one car, which was his car that he had gotten while he was in undergrad. So he got a car, but we both had jobs and they weren't near each other. So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying a scooter, which is Scooty. So I bought a scooter, and he actually taught me how to ride the scooter because I was so afraid, y'all. I was so afraid to drive that thing in middle traffic. Like, I can drive, but I don't know how to drive a scooter.
I did not like her riding the scooter. Although we needed something at the time, so we got her a scooter, and I didn't like her having to ride it because the weather could change at any moment.
Yes,
so if it started raining, all you had was a helmet, and you were getting soaked. Yeah.
I definitely got caught in the rain a couple of times, which sucked. But it worked. And then eventually I ended up getting a car, and how I even got my car was like an act of God, because
a straight act of God. You were convinced you were going to get the Nissan Altima, or you were going to get like a...
Yeah, I wanted a Nissan Altima so bad. I test drove one. I was like, I want this car.
And then you were convinced that you were going to win the Kia. You tried to win the Kia like...
I tried to win a car, y'all. I said I was entering this.
Times. She kept entering. She's like, babe, I think I'm going to win it this time. It's like the 20th time. I was like, babe,
yeah.
It's Kia. Yeah. So we're sitting at the car place. I'm getting my car worked on at this moment, and she's looking through different ads and stuff for cars, and she sees this car that she is totally interested in.
We randomly decided, let's go try to get the car. Literally. Yeah.
Literally.
It's like 9 p.m. on a Saturday night. We said we're gonna drive to Miami and we're gonna try to get this car. I contacted the seller. I wanted to come see the car before we purchased it, obviously. I had called some of my family members so that they can come inspect the car to make sure the car was in decent condition. All of this. So we literally we wake up Sunday morning, we pack our bags by the time we got home that Saturday night, woke up Sunday morning to go get the car. Maybe like halfway through our drive, he had emailed me, or I think emailed me, saying that there was somebody at his house right now looking at the car, and I'm thinking like, dear God, the car's gonna be gone.
We knew that this could happen too when we left. We were completely aware.
Yeah, and I found another car in the same price range, really good miles. I was like, okay, and it's a bit bigger, which is what the car that I wanted. I didn't want a small car, so I was like, well, that's great.
Dry.
Oh, it's dry. I was like, what is that? So I go with Some of my family, we go down, we go look at the car, we inspect the car. The car's in really good condition.
It's crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
It was like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna go with it. And it was a Cuban family, and we obviously language barrier. We don't speak Spanish. They don't speak English very well. So
we were trying to communicate with the, what our interest in the car, trying to haggle at the same time, saying, hey, 6,000. You posted this for 6,000. Can we do it for like 56, 5,500? They were pretty firm on 6,000.
My mom helped me get the car. So it helped us get my car, which is really great. So we wake up Monday morning, go to the bank to withdraw the money. Then we go to Miami. But the problem is that when we get to Miami, I don't have a tag to drive the car. And I'm going to the DMV to go get a tag for the car. The lady was going to charge me 2 years worth of registration, and my birthday is less than 30 days away. I was like, why would you charge me for a whole year registration when I only have 3 weeks left into my birthday, and then it's a whole new year? And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna pay for it because I didn't have enough money. We literally only had enough money to pay for the car and a couple hundred to pay for taxes, because at the time, the tag prices in Florida were absolutely ridiculous. Like, you're paying a couple $100s just to get a tag. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what I'm gonna do. I gotta get this car to my mom's house. We had to go drive back to my mom's house. I still got a job interview that same day. And then the next day we gotta leave because we got a conference with our church. Mind you, my phone is dying. I need my phone to do a Skype interview. He's at a store looking for a charger. I had an iPhone 4. And so I got this tag.
iPhone 4.
Yes, I know, it sounds like ancient, right? So I'm thinking, oh crap, we need a computer. So we walked into Miami-Dade College and we're looking around, and we walked into, like, I think a library portion.
Literally. And
we found a computer. It was unlocked.
But there was a student who wanted to use that spot. So there was a guy who came in here, and I just asked, would you mind if we just use this room for a little bit? And he said, that's cool. And then he asked, how'd you get on that computer? He's like, are you guys students here? We're like, no, we're not students here. Out of all the ones that were locked, this one was on and it was open, and it was in a secluded area where she could do her interview. Like, the odds of everything happening was just, everything was against us.
Yes. Less than 36 hours ago, we decided to drive to come get this car, and I had an interview. So I do my interview. It went well enough because I got the job. So I did well, although I felt like I did horrible. I did well enough to get the job, so I ended up getting the job.
Right.
So we ended up driving back to my mom's house with my car. My first time I actually, like, my car that I purchased. Well, with the help of my mother and him, of course. But in the midst of how things looked for us and how things didn't look like it was in our favor, that as much as what we wanted to do shouldn't have happened according to everybody else, it worked out. From us getting married, to us getting our place, to us getting our jobs, to me getting my car, to me getting a new job, to him getting a new job. Like, everything that we wanted worked into place. And it was just amazing how God just orchestrated everything in our lives from the moment we met up until this point. And so we're just really, really grateful and just super blessed that we have family and friends that are in our favor, that are rooting us on, keeping us accountable, pouring their love and all that stuff. So we went on our first cruise 2015 to Mexico.
Hey.
And since then we try to do a trip every year annually to a different country. So that's our goal, and thankfully we're in a place that we can do that, but we only do it once a year. 2016 we went to Colombia, and then we had like another cruise to Bahamas, and then 2017, so this year we went to Spain. We went to Madrid and Barcelona, and I don't know where we're gonna go in 2018. So one thing I would say I love most about Aaron, it's so hard because there's a lot of things I like about him. You're so weird. I would definitely say that he is a good man to follow, and so I really respect him. I really respect his opinion, and I really am thankful for his support. So I know it's not one thing, but it was just really hard. I can't think it's just one thing.
All right. The one thing I love about Steph, she is a gangster. She's a gangster, y'all. She'll come up and let you know what's up real quick. I'm playing that.
I don't know. She's like, that's not what I thought you were saying.
No. But one thing I love about her is how considerate she is. She always takes the time to take care of me, to check up on how I'm doing. She's always thinking about me, whether it's eating her food and maybe I don't necessarily feel like eating what she has, but she just wants to share it with me. Always wants to share. You're the only
person I want to share with.
I'm thankful because some people don't want to share that plate. That plate is a hard thing to share. No. She's always thinking of me in whatever she does, whether she goes to the store, whether she is out with her friends, whether she is at work, or just, you know, when she comes home, she always is just thinking about how she can help, how she can just love on me, and I really appreciate that. And there's so many other things that I can say, like she's the bomb.com. She's mine. Sorry, she's taken. These 5 years have been fun. They've been joyful. They've been extremely challenging at times and really caused us to take a deep look into ourselves. You can be in a relationship and you can get all the things you want in a relationship, like live with a person, be with a person. They can get you all these gifts, but to say that you have a friend really changes the dynamic of your entire relationship. And she's my best friend. That's all I got for right now.
So something that we've learned. I have learned that I'm really selfish, that I really got some growing up to do still. Marriage revealed a lot in myself that I didn't even know that was there, y'all. Like, when you are, you know, dating somebody and then having to live with them and then them be in your face.
Oh, you just said be in your face?
You have someone living with you and they're in your face all the time. Or you're in each other's spaces a lot and they see you of your flaws day in and day out. There is no hiding, there is no getting away. Really having to learn to care for someone else, like as much as you care about yourself, and really making sure that you model that behavior. Marriage is not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of practical things you have to do to sustain certain things. Talking about finances, talking about sex, children, talking about families and how that works. And thankfully, I absolutely love my in-laws. I love them to death. Like, I never felt like I was like the outside trying to get my way in. My seat was already there for me. It was prepared, and they never allowed me to feel like I wasn't a part. And so I'm super thankful for his family, because his family is the bomb. And I hope my family has been as welcoming to him too.
They have. I'm Haitian by association.
Yeah.
And I love it. I guess I could say one thing that I've learned in marriage is the importance of sharing what you feel. Sharing what's inside of your heart. Being with Steph has really taught me over these years to open up and talk about what's going on inside, as opposed to bottling up my feelings, and that has been really beneficial, because growing up for me, I didn't really know how to share my feelings. I was always a sponge, so being able to have a person that you can open up to and share those feelings with has changed me a lot on the inside and helped me to have a better perspective of myself. And I've learned to listen better. I know it's like cliche, you know, people say, oh, listen, husbands listen, fellas, listen to your wife. Listen, actively listen. It's like she wants to know that you can hear what she's saying and that you care about what she's saying and actually act upon what she's saying, you know, not later, not, oh, I'll get to it at some point, but doing it, you know, at that moment, you know, when she's asking, because it's important to her at that time, so it should be important to you as well. Her expectations, my expectations, being able to vocalize those things. If you can't talk about those things, it's gonna make your marriage, it's gonna make your relationship really, really difficult if you can't talk about those hard things that might be bothering you. So I've learned to have difficult conversations.
Oh, I would say another thing that I learned is the 2 C's. Compromise and communication. In the midst of compromising, you have an element of forgiveness. Yeah, we can compromise, but there should be some grace that needs to be there. I realized my communication wasn't as great as I assumed it to be.
45 shades of gray.
I don't think you can ever communicate enough, because things change. I'm not the same person I was when he met me almost 10 years ago, and I'm not the same person he started dating. I'm not the same person that he married the day that we said I do. Like, we have changed and we have grown. I can tell you a laundry list of things that I've learned about myself, that I learned about him. I learned about my role and his role and what that meant, and our partnership and our roles of me being a woman and him being a husband, and what that looked like together, and just all of this. But yeah.
So words of encouragement?
I would say if you find yourself in our position and you're young and you're thinking about marriage, I would definitely say first things first that you should pray about it. Speak to some people whose counsel you trust and whose counsel is wise.
That you trust now.
You don't want to just go trust anybody and just share anything, because not everything is meant to be shared with everyone. When it came to us wanting to get married, we had marriage counseling by one of the pastors. We dived in and talked about a lot of foundational things about marriage and what that looked like. Make sure that you speak to somebody else about it to help you shape what that looks like, to give you some practical things that you need to do to set yourself up for where you want to be.
Think about the things that you envision in your future spouse if you're considering a relationship, the values that you would want them to have, the things that you would expect them to kind of know about. When it comes to things like being financially literate, when it comes to things like, getting your emotions in check, having self-control in certain areas. Think about all those things and how they can impact your relationship or, even your future marriage. How are you preparing now to do those things? I would say take time to really take a deep look at yourself. Write a list. I know it sounds crazy, but you might have this list of just things about yourself that you want to, areas that you may want to grow in, things that you may want to just learn. The worst thing you can do is just jump into it and expect things to kind of just mesh and you not have certain areas in your life in check that you would want to, or at least be working on in that regard. Don't lose hope if you're in a place where you feel like the world is just like fading and you watch the news each day and you're like, man, is it even necessary? Is it even like, should I even pursue anything like that? We prayed, we trusted God to guide us in what our relationship now. Don't just pray to God because you need a relationship. We need a relationship with God first and foremost before anything. But He was the guider within our relationship. Really was the mediator between everything, and not only the mediator, but just guides us now as far as how we live our lives. So prepare now ultimately for what you want and what you envision in your life.
Yep. If there's something that you wanted us to talk more about our lives, let us know in the comment section below. Maybe we'll do like a part 2 of this series of just talk about marriage and relationships and what that looks like. I'll put all of our information down below, so make sure you follow me on Instagram if you aren't following me on Instagram, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I don't know why you're not subscribed, but you should be subscribed. And make sure you hit that little bell so that you get
subscribe.
And if you want to follow Aaron too, I'll actually link his information down below as well, so that you can
follow me
on Instagram.
Hey.
So you can see more about our lives.
Holla at your girl or your boy, and we'll holla at y'all some other time.
So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.